Are you looking for some cozy meal ideas for these chilly, crisp fall nights? Then stay tuned. Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. Today I have for you two meals that are really cozy meals that are gonna be perfect for your fall nights. Those crisp, chilly nights when you just want something that just makes you feel good when you eat it. And also today is a collaboration, and it is a fall cozy meals collaboration, and it's hosted by my friends on YouTube, Tiffany from Small Town 6, as well as Valerie from Valerie Hargett. And I will leave their channels linked in the description box, so make sure you check them out, as well as a playlist for all of the creators that are taking part in this awesome collaboration. You're not gonna wanna miss any of it. So let's go ahead and get into the kitchen and see what cozy meals I'm cooking. Growing up, my mom always made hamburger noodle casserole, and it was always one of my favorite meals. So when I think of cozy fall meals, this is kind of what I think of. Just something that reminds me of mom. But for this, you are going to need hamburger meat or ground beef. You're going to need whatever spaghetti sauce that you like to use. You're going to need sour cream, as well as I use the small curd of cottage cheese. And as you will also need some cheese, whatever your favorite kind of shredded cheese is, and you will need some egg noodles, whatever kind of egg noodles you like, whether you like the large ones, the medium, or whatever. But I'm gonna cook the ground beef in a skillet as well as boil the pasta. I have cooked the ground beef. I'm gonna put the egg noodles in the water. So while I am adding the spaghetti sauce, the egg noodles can be cooking. So it'll kind of, time-wise, it'll kind of measure out to be about even. So for the hamburger meat, I don't really season it. You can if you want to with some pepper or garlic or whatever, but this spaghetti sauce that I use is my favorite, roasted garlic and herbs. So it's pretty well seasoned, but I had a little bit in my refrigerator, so I'm gonna use the rest of that. It was probably about maybe a quarter of a jar, and then I'm gonna use about half of the other jar. You're just gonna get that mixed up real good and let it start simmering while your egg noodles are cooking. All right, the egg noodles are done and my spaghetti sauce is simmering. So I'm gonna go ahead and add to my egg noodles. So to this, you're gonna add the sour cream as well as the cottage cheese, and you're gonna get that all mixed up. And I do add a little bit of pepper to it just for a little added seasoning to this part. But this recipe is so similar to like a lasagna, but it's just so much easier to make. So that's why I really like making hamburger noodle casserole. But anyway, here I am adding the pepper. And at this point, if you want to add some garlic or parsley or even some Parmesan cheese, you can, but I just keep it simple because this is how my mom did it. Now, my mom did make her spaghetti sauce from scratch, but I just used the Prego. So anyway, I'm just gonna get this mixed in with these egg noodles. And once they're all mixed in, I spray my casserole dish. And I also have my oven preheated to about 425. So I'm gonna add a little bit of the sauce, not very much, just enough to kind of coat the bottom of the casserole dish. And I spread that out. And then I'm gonna put half of the egg noodle mixture on top of that. You're gonna spread that out, make sure it's as even as possible, and then you are going to add a little bit of the shredded cheese. Now, if you have like a block of cheese that you shred yourself, that's even better, but I just had a little bit of this cheese left, and then I just went ahead and bought some more, but I just put a little bit of cheese on this layer. Then I'm just gonna repeat the layers, the ground beef, the egg noodles, and then more cheese, and then I end up with a layer of the spaghetti sauce. So you're only gonna use like a third each time because you're gonna end with the spaghetti sauce and then you're gonna top it with cheese. I'm gonna pop this in the oven and let it cook until the cheese is nice and bubbly. Here it is out of the oven. I would say it only takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get it nice and bubbly, but this is such a delicious meal. It is nice and creamy. You get kind of that lasagna feel, but it is just so good. And I serve it with usually either salad or some green beans and some garlic bread. But this is such an awesome and quick and easy, cozy meal. Whenever I go visit my son in Texas, he always wants me to make some of this for his freezer. As I mentioned before, this is a collaboration hosted by Tiffany over at Small Town 6, as well as Valerie over at Valerie Hargett. Make sure you go check out their channels. You're gonna love all of their food content, and tell them that I sent you, and you are going to love their channels. Make sure you go and subscribe to their channels if you're not, and show them some love. This is a white chicken chili, and you are going to need chicken tenderloins. You're gonna need Great Northern beans, and I'm doubling the recipe, so what I have here is for double, but you're gonna need green chilies, cream cheese, chicken broth, but I use better than bouillon. You're gonna need the equivalent of an onion. You will also need some green salsa, whatever kind of green salsa you like, as well as some garlic, some salt and pepper, and some cilantro for the topping. Like I said, I'm doubling the recipe, and I will have that recipe link in the description box. But to my lined crock pot, I just happen to have these chicken tenderloins, so that's what I'm putting in here. You can use, fresh chicken if you want. I'm adding the chicken bouillon or chicken broth, as well as the green salsa. Next, you're gonna add the onion. Then you'll add the white beans. which if you're making like for 4 people, you definitely need to double the recipe. After that, I'm adding the green chilies, and if you don't like green chilies, you don't have to add them, but we do like green chilies. So once I add the green chilies, I'm gonna add the garlic. And I did forget to mention that you will need some cumin. So at this point, you add the cumin, and then finally you add the salt and pepper, which, as you can tell, I'm using a lot of pepper because we do love our pepper. And I don't really add much salt just because of the chicken bouillon, but you just mix this all together, make sure it's all well incorporated. You're gonna cover it and you're gonna cook it on low for about 6 hours. After about 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, I go ahead and take the chicken out, because at this point, especially because I'm using chicken tenderloins, they don't take as long to cook, but I'm taking all of the chicken tenderloins out, and I'm going to break all those apart, tear them all apart. You do want to take these out to shred the chicken, because you're gonna be doing the next step and you don't want the chicken shredded in there with it. So once you've done that, you're going to take some beans out of the juice and put them in you can use like a 2-cup mixing bowl, measuring cup, goodness. Or you can just put them in a mixing bowl. But I take a few scoops of the beans out because this is gonna serve as your thickener. I'm using this little Pampered Chef tool to mash these beans up, and you're gonna wanna make sure you get the beans mashed as good as possible. You do have a lot of beans left in the soup, so you don't have to worry about using all your beans, but you wanna make sure that you get that good bean mash to add, to add back to the soup. Now I've added about half of that beans, the mashed beans, into the soup. I needed to mix those a little bit more, but I also need to add the cream cheese to the mashed beans that are left in the cup. And I'm gonna use, for this double recipe, I'm using about 8 tablespoons of cream cheese. I feel like it's important to be clear that you want to put the cream cheese in with the mashed beans. Because you know, if you've ever cooked cream cheese in a crock pot, you know that it doesn't really melt completely, like all the way. So by adding it to the bean mixture, you get that all stirred up, and the heat of the beans kind of helps that cream cheese to melt and get smooth, instead of having kind of chunks of cream cheese in the chili when you're done. If you need to add a little bit of the broth from the soup to it, just to kind of keep it hot, because that cream cheese is gonna, bring down the temperature of the beans, but you can put some of the broth into that cream cheese mixture just to make sure it melts really good. But once you've got it all creamy, then you add that back to the crock pot, and you're gonna just stir that up until the cream cheese is, well incorporated in with the rest of the soup. Finally, you're gonna add back the shredded chicken at this point, and you're gonna cover it and let it cook for, another hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and it will start to thicken up. But you just wanna cover it and let it finish cooking until, that 5 to 6 hour time has been reached. I had never tried white chicken chili until just a couple of years ago, and it just always kind of felt weird to me to have white chicken chili. But ever since I tried it at a friend's house, Man, it is probably one of our favorite soups to make, and it has such a great flavor, and it's just one of those cozy soup meals that we love when the temperature is cool. To my bowl, I am just gonna add a little bit of cilantro, and if you want, you can add sour cream as well, maybe some lime juice. I didn't have any sour cream this night, but this is what it looks like, and it is so good. And it is very hearty, very cozy. That's it, my friends. Tell me in the comments below if you've had either one of these. I can't tell you which one is my favorite, although the hamburger noodle casserole is just one of those that just reminds me of, you know, growing up. So that may be probably my favorite. But if you've made it this far, please leave me a fall emoji in the comments below. And if you're new to my channel, or if you're coming over from one of the other channels from the collaboration, then welcome. I would love it if you would be a part of my YouTube family. If you like all things homemaking, whether it's meal ideas, shopping hauls, home decor, then make sure that you click the subscribe button and click the bell button so you don't miss any of my videos, especially right now with the holidays. I've got a lot of holiday content coming, and you're not going to want to miss any of it. And if you want more fall meal ideas, then make sure you check the box you see on the screen right now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.